Hi everyone, Inat Kessler here with a new project, and today we are making a Jacob's Ladder card. I don't know if you made it before, but it is really cool project. So let's get started with what you need to make it.
So what you need are 12 3x4 black cardstock, and you're going to divide them to two piles, 6 and 6. Then you need to cover all the squares with only on one side with cover paper. Make sure that if you do a horizontal pattern that you match all the patterns. So the next thing you need to do is apply some tape to the back side of all the rectangles. Now we're going to mark one of the piles. So on the long side, you mark with a little pencil, hope you can see that, on the 2-inch, which is the center. And then you mark half an inch, going half an inch from each edge, from the right edge and from the left edge, half an inch, along the long side of the black square, like this. And you need to do this on the top as well as on the bottom. So I'm going to flip it and do the same thing. Mark on the 2-inch and then half an inch from the right and half an inch from the left. And we're going to do the same marks on all 6 rectangles on the right side on the right pile. Remember, we have 2 piles, 6 on the left, 6 on the side. So instead of measuring, simply bring the other rectangles and use the first card as a template of where to mark. So go ahead and mark all 6 cards on the right pile. Now you need 3 ribbons, 40 inches long, and we're going to start assembling Jacob's Ladder. It's really fun. So you take first rectangle from the marked pile, the pile with the marks. You make sure that you put it vertically so the marks facing the outside horizontally. Make sure that the pattern always faces the same direction. Now remove the backing of the tape. I recommend doing this with the tape and not glue. It's going to be really messy with the glue. So dry tape is the thing to use here. Removing the backing can be really frustrating. Now, the first ribbon, we're going to attach it aligned to the left in the center of the little pencil mark that you made. Just going to trim the edge so it will be straight. So you align the ribbon to the left side, going in the middle of the 2 little pencil marks. That's the top ribbon. The next ribbon is going to go in the center from the right side, again in the middle, in the center of the little pencil marks. Then let the ribbon drape to the side, and then the final ribbon, which is going to be the bottom ribbon, is going to go from the left to the right in the center of the little pencil marks, like this. Now we're going to take another piece from the left pile this time, and we're going to remove the backing of the tape and sandwich the ribbons, namely attaching it back to back, glue to glue, aligning it perfectly with the first piece. So this is the first step. Now the most important thing to remember is after every time we add one piece, we have to change the directions of the ribbons. So the top and bottom ribbon are now going to face the right side and the center the left side. Now we're going to take another card from the right pile with the marks. Remove the backing. Align the pattern paper to the bottom, namely the glue will face us. And then we have to align it with the other cards while the ribbons are sandwiched in between. Now again, we have to flip the direction of the ribbon. Remember, every time we add a card, we have to flip the direction. So now we have to align it again with the pencil marks while the card is also aligned. Don't pull too hard. Don't make it too tight because it needs to move later. And then you align it with the pencil marks. A little confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it's really fun. Align it and glue it down. Now we need to take another card from the unmarked pile, and like before, sandwich the ribbons and attach it aligned with the rest of the cards, glue to glue. So one time we add glue to glue, and then one time we add paper to paper. So we added a card. We need to flip the directions of the ribbon. Remember? Always remember this part. Otherwise your ladder will not work. And then we take another from the marked pile. Make sure that your pattern faces the same direction. Remove the backing. And then paper to paper, sandwich the ribbons. And then again we need to flip the direction of the ribbons, aligning them with the little pencil marks, and glue them down, not pulling too tight, so it will be able to move later. So let's do the first one, the top one. Go slowly, you're not in any hurry. Don't pull too tight, and align the card with the cards on the bottom and the ribbons with the pencil marks. Oops, and if it moves, it's okay. Just reposition it and continue. Okay, so now we're going to continue with the rest of the cards. Remember, if you don't remember which card you need to use, always use the one that from the pile that has more cards in it. But basically it's one from the marked pile and one from the unmarked pile, and you have to alternate in between. So I wanted to take you through the entire process, even though it repeats itself, because it can sometimes be really confusing. So I want to make sure that you follow along. But I've speeded things up a little bit, and if you got the idea, then simply skip ahead to the part where we finish all the pieces. But if you want, you can follow along, and you'll see that while the ribbons are getting shorter, it's becoming a little bit easier to flip their direction. So one from the marked pile, one from the unmarked pile, and change the directions of the ribbon every time you add a piece. And don't forget to align all the pieces and align the ribbons with the pencil marks. So once you get the hang of it, it's actually pretty easy. And you can do a square, not necessarily a rectangle. You can do a square ladder. All the measurements are basically up to you. Just remember that you need to mark the center and 1/2 inch from each side. And that's basically it. Let's do the last one from the marked pile, and then make sure the pattern facing the right direction. And then we'll just need to add the last piece from the unmarked pile, and we can go ahead and continue. The glue is so sticky that it sticks to my fingers and then I move it all the time. But that's okay, you need a strong glue to make it work. Okay, so the last piece, make sure to trim the ribbons before. I forgot to do that, so now I have to remove it. Trim the ribbons before you add the last piece. Okay, now we're ready.
Now I want you to see how it works. You will need to jiggle it and work it to make sure that it falls properly. And you'll also need to add some embellishments, because the heavier the pieces are, the easier they'll go. So the more you work it, the better it will be. And it looks really, really cool. So just work it a few times to make sure it falls properly. So I hope you like this video. Please subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to click on the little bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video. And I hope you like this video, and thank you for joining me. I will see you next time.